Okay, take roll call.
Callahan? Here. Houston?
Here.
Hannah?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin absent. Jensen? Here.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we have a first, a second?
Second.
Second.
Got a second? Did you get those?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, next on the agenda here is the recognition of our outgoing mayor, possibly mayors, and a council member and council member. So if the three of you would come forward.
Scared me.
Okay. Al and I worked this out to put these together because of all the service that you have done to the community, for the community. I shouldn't say to the community. But Juan, you have not only city council, you've been involved in so many projects in the community, and I hope that you continue to. Carl, you have not only been on city council, you have also been mayor and then on city council again, so that you have put a lot of time into the community. We appreciate that. Bonnie, same thing. You've been on the council. You've had 8 years as mayor, and we really appreciate everything that you have done. And so we just wanted to say thank you to you. And I thought this was very creative here for Al on this. We have to thank Al for doing this for me. So we're just appreciative of everything you've done. Good examples for the community. Good, John? Good smiles. All right, I'm gonna put one more. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and again, we appreciate everything that those three individuals have done for the community and for the city government. All right. Do we have anybody for public comment?
Nobody signed in.
Oh, no, okay. You know, public comment, we did put that in for people to have an opportunity to talk to the city council. Carl might remember back when we couldn't do that. So please feel free to come in if you're a citizen and pass on an idea or a thought. That's what this public comment period is for. So, thank you. Okay, next is a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following. The minutes of the December 13th, 2021 regular meeting.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Second.
okay, got a first and a second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we've accepted that. I do have a question here on the claims. We didn't spend any money?
Yes.
There was an issue with the claims attaching to some of the
Oh,
versions of,
no, I see what happened. They got put in admin content, not in public content, so.
I was going to say, I have it, but
I do too.
You have it?
I do too.
it is an
Okay.
admin though.
right.
Okay, so,
It just got attached to the wrong spot, sorry.
okay, here I thought I could lay claim that we cut the budget and didn't spend any money in the first month, but I guess I'm wrong on that.
I
So-
make a motion to approve Mayor Hill's initiative.
Did somebody say something here? My left hearing aid's not working. Anybody have any questions on the claims? Okay, a motion to approve them?
Second.
No, I can't make the motion.
I already did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I thought it was to not spend any money.
No?
I thought that was.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of approving the claim signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, and then the next three items, again, are simply for everybody's information, kind of tracking where the money has gone and what each department has spent and where they're at in their budget. Okay, and next item here is set a public hearing for Chapter 55, Animal Protection and Control. A motion to set January 24th, 2022 at 5 PM as a public hearing for an amendment to Chapter 55, Animal Protection and Control.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion
Can you talk
carried.
about that a little bit for the community?
Okay. Al?
Dave?
I'm sorry, Deb, I didn't hear your question.
She just wants it talked.
I just wanted you to talk about that so the community understands that.
Okay, the reason why we're amending this section is due to the fact that we have lost or losing Pipestone or Family Veterinary Clinic as our place that we take our stray animals. And so being in that position, we had to look for a place that was able to do that for us, and the best option for us out there was Cedar Bend Humane Society. Because of the contract that we've received that you see in your packets and you'll look at later on to, okay, we have to change some of the things in our animal ordinance to equal up with that. So that's why we're looking to change Chapter 55. We're just changing a few of the words in there. And then you'll also see that within the next item, which is the fee schedule. And that is to make it so that it's equal to what they do. And as far as service goes, that will be far and above what we could provide here by ourselves. Plus, it'll take care of city staff not spending too much time on these things.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Chief, could you reposition the microphone
Oh.
just a little bit?
Okay.
Just so they pick you up next time?
I thought I had something on my.
Does Cedar Bend have a location here?
No. So over the past 2 months, we've been working hard, and the street department and those guys have been helping us out. We will now have a 2-place kennel facility for large animals, as well as 4 places for small animals and or family-type cats. The 4-animal place, they're like the hotels that the veterinary services use. Those are actually donated by Pipestone to us. Bailey was kind enough to give us those that they weren't using anymore. And you'll see within the contract when that comes up later on as to how we're gonna go about that. But they don't have a place, but we'll talk about that when we get to that contract later on.
So you're going to have Iowa State and Iowa hotels there?
Actually, our hotel will be approved by the State of Iowa Ag Department. I'll have to get a license and have it approved. So I guess it's Iowa State then.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, next we have Motion to set a public hearing for January 24th, 2022 at 5 PM for an amendment to Code Section 1.15, fines and fee schedules, which goes along with what Chief Neidert said, we do need to change some of the fines and fees that we pay.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, motion, first, second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, moving down to resolutions. Motion to approve a resolution setting date of January 14th, 2022 at 5 PM for a public hearing on designation of urban renewal area and on urban renewal plan and project. If we get a motion, we can have Al explain a little bit here.
May I correct, the motion date should be the 24th.
Oh, okay.
Fingers got in the way of the date that is setting January 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, Al, do you want to kind of talk about this?
Yes, Steve G. is proposing to take the next phase of his development there at Hummingbird Court. This is to the south of his current development that he's building out, and we have to start the process to create an urban renewal area and a plan for that area. This public hearing will take that step. Following the creation of the urban renewal area, you will have a development agreement with Mr. G, consistent with what he's done 4 or 5 times. Hummingbird Court is down the end of Spruce Drive, beyond Cardinal Court, past Goldfinch Court. The last one to the west is Hummingbird Court. If you follow that street all the way to the end, he goes north on his Phase 1, and that is going to be built out over the course of the next construction season, he expects. So now he will go south to the south edge of his property from that intersection.
Okay, any questions on that? All right, all those in favor of setting the public hearing?
Mayor, roll call.
Aye.
It's roll
Oh,
call.
that's right, okay. Let's have a roll call.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing resolution passed. Next, under resolutions, a motion to approve a resolution accepting work covering the 2021 pavement rehabilitation project.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Okay, second? Okay, got a second? All right, any questions or comments on this?
Another street project done.
Right,
Thank you.
no, good job. Okay, let's have a roll call on this.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes. Next resolution is a motion to approve a resolution adopting final assessment schedule for the 2021 pavement rehabilitation project and amending, confirming and levying the assessments. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and second. This would just simply be for the citizens that lived along our street projects this past summer. Okay? Do we have any questions? Roll call?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Hey, next item is a motion to approve a resolution designating the 2022 city depositories. And that would be Bank Iowa at this time? Am I right, Al?
That's correct.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'd make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions? One thing you probably read in here, we do have accounts in some of the other financial institutions, but This is our official designated one. Okay? Roll call?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
All right, next, a motion to approve a resolution designated the Bulletin Journal from Independence and the News from Winthrop as the official papers of the city.
So moved.
Okay?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions, comments? Roll call?
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
That means we get good press now? We get complimentary compliments? Oh, now I understand. Oh, okay. Especially from the masked man in the back there? Okay, all right. Next motion is a motion to approve a resolution setting the annual mileage designation at 58.5 cents per mile when you use your personal car for city use.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
first and a second. Any questions?
Yeah, how much was it last year?
56 cents.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call?
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Now we're moving into the appointments and reappointments of the various boards and commissions. The first one is motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Gerald Stelter to a 6-year term on the Independence Light and Power Board.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? Any comments, questions? Roll call?
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen, Callahan,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Okay. The next motion would be a motion to approve a resolution for reappointment of Lance Fricky to a 6-year term to the Independence Light and Power Board.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? Got it? Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call?
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, next item is a motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Dan Callahan to the Airport Board for a 4-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? Any questions or comments? Roll call?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Okay, appointment approved. Next is also an Airport Board appointment. Motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Janet Payne to a 4-year term to the Airport Board.
So moved. Second.
Okay? Questions or comments?
I got a question. How many meetings are you allowed to miss, and how many did she miss in the past year?
Generally, we go by 3 missed meetings or unexcused absences. There is no policy for excused absences.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Roll call?
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Okay, appointment approved. Another airport appointment, motion to approve a resolution that appoints Jeff Rottinghouse to a 4-year term to the Airport Board.
So moved.
Second. Okay.
Okay, first and a second, okay. Any comments or questions?
I'm,
Yes. Didn't he owe a fuel price out there, and did we ever get that out of him?
Did he owe a fuel price?
Wasn't he to pay us for fuel that he sold to the crop dusters? get a percentage of that money?
I am not aware of anything that Mr. Rottinghouse owes us at this time.
Did he owe something for fuel at one time?
I would have to double check on that, Deb. I'm not recalling that, but I can look into it.
Thank you.
We had a problem with someone else on that, didn't we?
We did.
Okay, sorry, Deb, we don't have a definitive answer on that.
I would
There's
like
some
to,
problem with putting him on here rather than Karen. There's nobody in Independence that's got a better history of that airport, and we're gonna lose a lot of knowledge.
No, we hear your comment. John, did you have comment?
I did. I think Jeff Rottinghouse would be a good addition to the airport board. He's got a lot of good aircraft knowledge, and being a crop duster would provide us some good input, I think, if we ever get our north pad put in for the crop dusters. I know we're going to miss Karen on there, but I think Jeff will be a good addition.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment? Okay, thank you for your comments. Roll call?
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
No,
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, didn't it? Okay, thank you. The next one is for Planning and Zoning Commission appointment. A motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Jane Leven to a one-year term to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
so moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, roll call?
Hannah,
Yes,
Kurtz.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Okay, appointment carries. Next one again, Planning and Zoning Commission, motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Brad Blackner to a one-year term to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and a second, any questions or comments? Okay, roll call?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
yes,
Okay, appointment is approved. Next is also a Planning and Zoning Commission appointment. Motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Bill Lake to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a two-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, roll call?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
yes,
Kurtz.
Yes.
Okay, next is another Planning and Zoning Commission appointment. Motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Stephanie Burns to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a two-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, roll call?
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
That's a three-year, isn't it? The bigger one.
Deb,
I think Deb's having trouble. Deb, can you hear us?
Deb?
She's playing video games.
Hi, Deb? Okay,
hearing,
let me call you on the conference line.
thank you. Hello.
Hi, Deb. There, we got you.
Hannah? It's your turn for the roll call, Deb.
This is for Stephanie Burns.
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Okay, appointment approved. Planning and Zoning Commission appointment, motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Matt Maynor to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 3-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, you got a motion is a second. Any questions? Let's have a roll call. I almost made a mistake.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Okay, that completes our Planning and Zoning Commission appointments. Next is a Board of Adjustment appointment. Motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Lloyd Davis to a 5-year term to the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any comments or questions?
How many years has he been on there?
He's been there a while. He's pretty conservative with a dollar, John.
Okay.
Is that a good answer?
Okay, I'll take your answer. It'd be fun to get some new recruits.
I suppose it's probably hard to get some fresh blood for Board of Adjustment, maybe.
Well, it's one of those that they don't really meet unless they have to. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, roll call?
Hannah?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Okay, appointment approved. Next is another Board of Adjustment appointment. Motion to approve a resolution that reappoints Cheryl Hand to the Board of Adjustment for a 5-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, it's roll call.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Okay, appointment approved. Next, under other business, we go to legal services. Motion to approve the contract for legal services with Lynch Dallas. You probably noticed in this one that there are 3 fee charges. A partner is $165, an associate is $155, and a legal assistant is $100. This is a change. I think this is the first change we've done since they've come on board. It's a $10 an hour increase from what we paid the years previous. I think they've done a good job for us. We've had our difficulties in the last couple of years, and I think they've always led us out of the thorny brush. So I think they have people that cover just about anything a city can have problems
Are
with.
they situated down to Cedar Rapids?
Cedar Rapids, yes.
I'd make a motion to approve the contract.
I think it's worth checking out somebody else just to see what they can do for us.
Okay. We can, we'll consider that when we do the roll call, Deb. Okay, any other comments?
Do they specialize?
They do. They represent a number of cities.
It depends on what area of law. They work, primarily in the public sector with cities and schools, but they do have some employment law in the private sector as well. So some of their attorneys do have some private practice, but they're primarily focused, again, in the public sector. HR attorneys are specialized. Amy Reesner and Holly Corkery have been specific in that area. They've got a couple of attorneys that specialize in contract law. Pat O'Connell and Steve Leidinger, for example. Doug Herman specialize in public sector, city councils specifically, that they represent on general city operations and city law, if you will, or municipal law.
So there's probably not a lot of options out there as far as people with expertise in that area?
Oh, I can find several that
There are
do
others.
public sector law. I will tell you, most of them will not be at 165.
I was just gonna ask, then what would their rates be in comparison if you would
Yeah,
have any kind of an idea?
I think you're in the 175 to 200, depending on the firm. When we brought them in, they were gracious enough to, we had to go up from what we were paying Carter Stevens at the time because he was artificially low when he worked for us, and I think his rate was 110. Well, nobody was at 110. The 155 was kind of a compromise, and they've been at that rate for, I think it's been 3 years now.
And they've done well by us, is what I heard. Bob
I,
say.
I would say so. Some others might disagree, but I think they've done a good job.
I would add that Patrick O'Connell specializes in some of the condemnation things and that type of thing that could down the road benefit our city a lot. And otherwise, you might not find a law firm that have that, and you'd have to go out and contract it separately.
Well, and what we have with Lynch Dallas, with the stable of attorneys, is each one has their area of expertise or specialty. And so depending on the topic that we have, we get the attorney that has the most knowledge in those areas. And that's been beneficial versus trying to find a different firm every time we have a specialty issue. The one thing, just so everybody is clear on, to this point, we have used Swisher and Court, Steve Widener, for labor relations. And while Lynch Dallas does labor relations, and they're well-respected with Bill Stone and Wilfred Stone in their firm, Steve Widener has done very well for us, at Swisher and Court. So that's the one area that we do not use Lynch Dallas for. Also, our bond counsel is Dorsey and Whitney, John Dano specifically, Amy Bjork. They specialize in just bond or lending law, which is a highly specialized area. And Lynch Dallas will not do that. Most firms don't do it. I think there's only two primary ones in the state, Ehlers and Dorsey Whitney.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I answered all my questions.
Okay, roll call?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah. No. Kurtz,
Yes.
Okay, the legal services motion passes. Next item deals with airport tie-down fees.
In this case, our airport manager, Brett Sukup, brought this issue to the airport board, specifically asking for instances where we may have an aircraft parked on the apron for more than 30 days. Short-term tie-downs is not an issue. We don't charge for that. We don't have a ground fee or a landing fee at the airport. But if we get somebody that decides to tie down their aircraft on our apron for an extended period of time, we also have nothing in place currently to address that. I did work with the city attorney on this. There's a memo here where he provides his recommendation that we do this as a part of our regulations, not as a part of the ordinance. The fee structure for this would have to be part of the ordinance by design of our city code. And we approved that amendment previously in the meeting. Here, we're looking for a motion to have the council allow us to add language to our current rules and regulations pertaining to extended periods of time for aircraft to be tied down on the apron, which would require insurance, which we want in case something happened to the aircraft, as well as, some idea of who's going to be there and for how long. One of the challenges that we have this time of year, of course, if it's tied down, we have to move snow, we have to move it around the aircraft. We want to have the flexibility to work with the aircraft owner to be able to move that plane and clean the apron accordingly. So really, we're asking for your permission to add language to the rules and regulations at the airport.
And the airport will come back with a recommendation on that?
Yes.
I'd make a motion to approve.
I would second that.
Okay. Any further questions?
I can see where that would be a concern, especially in the wintertime.
Right. And if the aircraft is tied down there and we have an issue where an aircraft is damaged, we want to make sure there's insurance if it's there for an extended period of time.
Okay. Else? Roll call?
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah? Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Okay. Next item is dealing with billing services and water meter reading agreement with Independence Light and Power. It's motion to approve the 2022 agreement for billing services and water meter reading with Independence Light and Power. You probably noticed that that is going to go up 2.5%, which they said is primarily labor cost. So there'll be $68,721 for 2022, and it was $67,045 in 2021. One thing, when we pay this, we also need to keep in mind, you probably noticed the contribution in kind. They do quite a bit of work for the city, and I think in the past year, their in-kind contribution to the city was around $32,370. So that's in lieu of paying property taxes.
Can I ask a question, or do we need a motion first?
Need a motion first.
Make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All right, now, John.
With us going to the automatic or automated meter readings, why is our cost going up on the fee?
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense to justify it with labor.
Well, this is for the billing and, let's call it the office.
The
side.
in-house.
The in-house stuff, not going out and actually reading it, having a meter reader go to each door.
How much was that in the past? Your general ballpark?
I can't answer that. I don't have that off the top of my head.
And I'm not trying to be cruel, but it sounds like an immediate cash cow for them. We're not paying for a meter reader out there, but we're paying for
Yes.
We
a
are
lot of
paying,
money
That was
for
my question,
a
too.
significant decrease in services, or observed services.
okay, I would, first of all, I won't speak for Independence Light and Power. I will tell you that the services they provide in-house with the billing and monitoring for us is incredibly important and valuable. So I understand
agree
what you're
with
saying
that.
as
I
far as
agree.
observed services, but I think the services that we're receiving on the billing side are pretty significant. The flip side to that is, what would the cost to the city be if we were to do our own billing? And I'm not sure that we would see a significant savings from the 68,000 to do it internally, although admittedly, I have not gone out and looked at doing anything in-house either.
We talked about that a number of years ago, about taking that over, and I think between bringing in new computer systems and having a more staff, it was not a, Susie
No.
wants to do it?
No, I have no issue with Independence Light and Power continuing their work. They do wonderful work.
But I think we did bring it, this was quite a while ago, that there was some talk of bringing it in-house and doing it ourselves, because some communities do, and
I appreciate their billing services and everything else. I just question why it should be going up when there's no labor cost involved as far as a meter reader.
That's what I thought when they went to the automated meter reading, was that it was supposed to reduce the cost.
I really would like us to look into it before we approve this.
Okay?
Does that cost get incurred then through more technology, that we're paying for some of that technology?
Well, part
We
of it
we
is-
paid the technology.
Well, we paid for the meter modules. The technology side of it that they're dealing with is on the billing side. They have, part of it is paying for their billing software. I'm sure that's being amortized with us included because they have to include our bills in their billing. They're already doing the mailing, so that is not an added cost for them, but that would be in excess of $20,000 a year for postage, as an example. I don't know what the printing costs are. And then the portion of their staff that gets billed to that, and I think that's reflected in their billing summary. They've got $9,000 for laser print statements, $26,700 for 2 employees, $37,400 for employee benefits, $180 for the hosting fee. That's going to be in their software. Times a couple of them, they've got 2 different hosting fees. They've amortized the billing software maintenance for our portion, $10,000 on the billing system and $16,500 in software maintenance. So, I mean, the breakdown is there. The lion's share of the $68,000 is directly related to the employees. That would be your $54,000 in round numbers.
How many meter readers did they have employed when they were reading them manually?
Just one.
Do you know?
Well, at the time that they made the transition, it was just one.
Just one?
But this is just in-house, it's not. This is the ladies who do that billing.
All the billing and-
This is not meter readers.
They're not reading it at
Right.
the house. They're still reading them internally. That information is downloaded through the system, John, you're correct.
So they're spending more time in-house doing what somebody was walking around doing, is that what you're?
I don't want to say more time. I don't know enough
I
about,
mean, time, they're
all,
spending time.
all of their time is reading it in-house now, as opposed to, I shouldn't say all of their time. I believe that they still do it remotely, but I think the route is driven and they're picking up that data remotely instead of walking to each door.
Still not,
We exceeded our water budget putting in the meters so that we could accelerate this process in order to save money. And now it looks like it's costing us more money. So I just question it. It's,
well, would the question be how much we're saving that we don't know because of the fact they don't have somebody walking to every house? I mean, we're, basically, this is apples to apples. This was in-house before when they did go to house. So what we're saving is the human being walking between houses, and we don't know how much that was a charge. That's
well,
what
I
I'm
bet it's a
getting at.
heck of a lot more than what we're looking at here. And I could just question it.
Okay.
I think we should look into it.
I will ask Kevin to come and visit with us.
Okay,
Thank you.
can we table this without it?
Yeah.
I would ask for a motion to table this to the next meeting.
So
Motion.
moved.
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
First and second to table this until the January 24th meeting. We need a roll call on that. Okay, roll call?
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah? Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Okay, that has been tabled.
One comment, let's don't turn this into a,
I'm sorry, Deb.
let's don't turn this into like the ambulance and we lose the company that has to do this ourselves because in-house it would cost a lot. Well, we had it at one time at City Hall.
Yeah, that would have been quite a few years ago, but I think to have Kevin come in and, we'll just ask Kevin to come in and explain it and
Okay. Okay, thanks, Deb. Next is a Motion to approve the agreement for animal services with Cedar Bend Humane Society for a period of, how many years?
It was blank in the agreement.
What?
It was blank in the agreement when I got it, so.
Chief?
Your main question there, Bob, is we had agreed when I talked to Christy Gardner, the executive director, we would enter into a 3-year agreement with a 1-year clause where we could back out if we wanted to. The thing is, we have no place else to go at this point. I will highlight for you the fact that I did go meet with Christy at Cedar Bend Humane Society. I was given a tour of the facilities, and they are above par when it comes to dealing with animals. This also then gives us an actual legal contract when we pick up a stray and it is not claimed, for them to go ahead and get that animal adopted out. Up to this point, Pipestone or Family Animal Services had been doing that on their own, but it was something outside of what we had talked to them about. And the service they will provide is Monday through Friday, they will come pick up animals in the city of Independence and transport them up to Cedar Bend Humane Society. On Saturday and Sunday, they will not provide transportation, so the police department will be caring for those animals over those 2 days. The place where we put our kennels at, where they've been building them, is at the city shop in the old wash bay that was built for us probably, I think, back in the 90s or early 2000s. That was built up there. And in reality, that was built too small to begin with. So it makes sense. It's heated. If we have to, if it becomes too hot and the ventilation fan is not enough, we can actually add a small air conditioning unit above those kennels up there. And everything that we've done up to this point, we've also contacted Emily Rogers from the State Department of Agriculture. She has guided us in this effort as well, because we have to become a fully certified kennel to be able to hold dogs for any period of time. So the way we're going to do it here and the way Cedar Bend does it is all up to par with animal handling regulations put out nationwide. And once the animal goes up there, they will hold for 3 days. They will charge us a $54 flat fee. So it doesn't matter if it goes for 1 or the 3 days, it's $54. If someone comes to reclaim their animal, they'll pay the $54 plus a $25 fee on top for $79. If you think back to your fee schedule that I gave to you, $79 will now be the fee that we will charge if an officer picks up that dog at 3 o'clock and the owner calls at 8 and says, hey, I want my dog back, do you have it? $79, which is the same fee that they will pay to Cedar Bend Humane Society. If they go to Cedar Bend, the $25 over the $54 will come back to us as a city. They will cut that check every month. So we will get a bill for however many animals we have. If we have 10, we'll get a bill for $540, and if 10 are reclaimed, we'll get $250 back on that. Between the animal fees that we will do for impounds and the fees that they kick back, we should be running at about an equal rate, is what I've projected over what we've had in the past. At this time, even though it's in the contract with you, we are not going to be taking vicious animals up there. Those will stay in-house. Family Animal Clinic has agreed to keep our vicious animals when we have dog bites and the such. But it is written into the contract so that if any point Family Animal Clinic drops out, I can make a phone call and we're just going with them then in the future. But I don't see any problem whatsoever with Cedar Bend Humane Society, and they've been open and gracious to us. They've actually told us they will donate excess food to us so we don't have any food costs. They've told us that they would donate any excess carriers if we would need those. They'll also work with us on any huge stray animal population that we might have, like when we had the cats, or say a citizen decides that they've, got 40 or 50 dogs in their house. Cedar Bend will be there for us in those instances when we have to remove those 40 or 50 dogs. They will also provide service to us if you decide at any point that you can no longer have your pet as a City of Independence resident. They will do voluntary surrenders to them and then try and rehome that animal. So all in all, it's a good contract with them, and it's also a good working relationship that we can have, that we show that we care about the animals that we deal with here in the city.
The one concern that I have, Chief, is, you said that we basically don't have anywhere else to go. My concern, I'm glad that we have the 1-year opt-out. My concern is not having a location here in the city. Even though Cedar Bend does a great job in that.
The problem is we're finding is more and more veterinary clinics that have places for animals to invest in a large amount of area to be able to separate the strays from their clients' animals
Yeah,
is cost exorbitant. And if you take your dog into Pipestone or Family Animal Clinic and you come in to pick up your animal and see that it's next to a stray that is looking horrible, one of the things is you may not want to bring your animal back there.
right.
So we've relied, back when it was Dr. Peter Schmidt and then became Pipestone and now Family Animal, we've relied on them. Outside of Family Animal Clinic, no one else has the massive amount of kennel space that would be required for that. I know we had the same problem and issue in Olwine, and when the vet clinic got full up there, we just didn't collect strays. And so that becomes an issue if we don't have a place for them. Cedar Bend will always have a place for them. If there's ever a need for whatever purpose, we can always do 24-hour access and weekend access if we want to take an animal up there. That's not my first choice, but if we got into a situation where we had to, that's allowable as well. I understand we'd love to have something here in town, but it's not financially feasible for those folks. And overall, we're kind of getting specialists now. When we deal with Cedar Bend Humane Society, they're the specialists, they know what they're doing, and they have a great track record as well. And I think it'll be a win-win on both sides as far as the positive press that both sides will get out of it.
Thank you, Chief.
I know I've gotten one of my dogs in the past from Cedar Bend, and they are terrific to work with, and they really do take great care of the dogs. It's too bad it's not a little closer, but
Yes.
if they're willing to come here and pick them up, that's a big win for you guys.
It got down to the only other possibility for us was to open and run our own kennel here, and the cost of paying a city employee to do those things would be outrageous. And it's going to be a little extra on the employees on the police department at this point, but I think well worth it, and I think we'll do well with this.
Good.
I think our biggest challenge to having something local is staffing. It is not
Yeah.
just the
The facility is.
facility, which can be done, but finding people, qualified people to staff it, I think is our concern. I wanted to point out in here, if you go through the fee structure of this agreement, there is a 2% handling fee for all animals picked up. But more importantly, the $150 to quarantine a stray animal that might have to be quarantined, that's also being adjusted in our fee schedule to reflect those costs. So all the way through here, we've tried to maintain that cost-neutral presence to the taxpayers while providing the service.
And we'll go back to Lynch Dallas on this. I sent it down to their contract attorney. He looked it over, and then he forwarded it on to the attorney, Daniel Morgan, who deals with all of our vicious animal and stray animal things. He reviewed it as well. So we came back with making sure our ordinances were up to par as to what the city's attorney said, and they did a great job on that for us.
The only other question in here, the 3 years was kind of waiting to see where the council was comfortable with. So Dave, thank you for that. And we have to pick a date that this starts on. I think we're very close to having our kennel ready. So I
Yeah.
guess before we formally adopt it, I want to make sure we have a date that we think we can commence this on.
And my other thinking on that with the open-ended on the dates was we can get the contract signed at some point. We should be done built here before the end of January, and I should be able to get Department of Ag in by that first week of February. The contract itself doesn't cost us a dime if we don't take an animal to Cedar Bend. Family Animal Clinic has been gracious enough to extend after they decided to cancel their contract with us, they told us that they'd hang on for as long as as long as we needed them, as long as we were moving in a positive direction. And Bailey from out there has been very happy with us. So whatever the council may decide, that's the timeline that I have in mind through construction and okay with agriculture.
Do you think February 14th would work, Al? That's our first council meeting in February.
I think that if we could target maybe February 1st or even January 31st for Dave's schedule, to when we can start taking make the contract live. I mean, we can't take animals until it's approved, but that gives everybody a target date.
Do we want to put a date in this then?
I would put a date in this. Question about tabling it, I would not, because we need to move this down the road with both Cedar Bend and with Pipestone.
Why don't we just go with February 1st as a start date? Okay.
I'd
The
second that.
Okay. Thing I like too is it's humane with the animals. Pipestone does what they can, but if they can't get rid of an animal, it goes down. And Cedar Bend is very good about finding homes, and I think that's a good option.
And the contract being February 1st, even if we're not fully up and running, we can still continue to use family animal. But then as soon as I'm ready to go up here, we can make that switch. And again, the contract won't cost us a dime if it's approved for February 1st, and we're not taking animals yet. So there's no danger there either.
Okay. We have a motion by Deb for February 1st, starting date on the contract for 3 years. And get a
With the
second?
1-year opt-out if it
In a
doesn't.
one-year option, I think that,
Yes.
okay. Okay, any other comments? We got a motion and a second. Roll call?
Hannah,
Thank you.
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the next motion here, Bonnie and Carl, even though you've arm wrestled for thinking you could come up here to make this motion, you technically can't. So your arm wrestling back there has been of no value. Okay? So, just want to make that clear. Okay, next is a Highway 150 reconstruction pay request. Motion to approve Highway 150 reconstruction pay request number 9 that results in a refund of $119,443.53.
So moved with a scowl like Carl would make.
We got a second from Deb. Okay, any questions? Anybody not want to take this money back? If you do, you can't be on this council.
Good.
Okay, roll call?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, next item here is a change order number 6 for taxiway apron rehab program at the airport. Motion to approve change order number 6 for taxi airport rehab project for an increase of $1,976.28. John, are you going to be as forward on that one?
I'll make the motion,
Okay,
regretfully.
we have a second?
Second.
Okay, got a second. And basically, this has been an ongoing project that they did some additional work and we're being billed for the additional materials or time. So, any other questions? Okay, roll call?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, engineers report. Brian, I've been waiting for you all night.
Actually, it's Mark we were waiting for. but that's
Yeah.
You're gonna still be waiting.
Big disappointment then for everybody.
I'm not sure
Really
Mark can talk.
Yeah. We really don't have anything new to report since the last time that we've talked, but we're certainly willing to answer any questions that you have on active projects.
Okay. Don't have any? Do you have any questions for Ryan? That's your best report you've ever given us.
All right.
Very
It's awesome.
You're setting the bar really high there. We'll work toward that in the future.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Okay, next is just for informational discussion, OSHA vaccination mandate, and I'm going to turn it over to Al.
Well, we've been on again, off again with the OSHA ETS policy requirement for vaccine mandates. As of Friday morning last week, we were required to have this in place by today. And working with the city attorney's office, we have developed a policy for the city, also addressing minors who are required to address this if they were to be working for the city. Friday, of course, the Supreme Court heard arguments for and against the mandate. Very late in the day on Friday, there was some updates, and then again on Saturday concerning the feeling of what the Supreme Court might do, but the governors sent out a press release saying that Iowa OSHA was not mandating this. And I have received information from two different attorneys' office suggesting that we maybe consider a pause on this until they figure out where they're going. And I've included one of the more clearly written statements here for your information on the updated info. This really comes down to what the courts are going to decide on the vaccine mandate. My recommendation to the council and the overwhelming recommendation from those that I've been in contact with is to put a hold on this. We are still accepting, accepting voluntary reporting on employees who have been vaccinated. It's part of their permanent medical record. So we tuck it away, but we are not mandating it. There are some decisions that have to be made in this policy. So should it come back, we want to make sure we understand where the council wants to go, who's going to pay for the weekly testing, which was set to begin in February. Do we, as a city, pay for it? Do we make the employee pay for it? If we're going to do it on site, then we have some biohaz map material to dispose of. How are we going to do that? If we require masks for those people that are not vaccinated, we cannot identify employees to the public for anybody who is not vaccinated. But we can require them to wear a mask. I haven't figured that one out. So, but one of those nuances of this policy. If we're going to require masks, is the city paying for the masks like we do for steel-toed boots or reflective clothing? Things that you can consider. Who's going to regulate the compliance with this? If we can't tell anybody who's vaccinated and who is not, I'm a little challenged on how we're going to do that citywide on a daily basis. But one of the things that we can work toward. That's a really long explanation to my recommendation that you ignore this for now. And we'll see.
I know it might come back.
Well, I have to be honest, I can't tell you with any certainty that it will or will not come back. I agree with you. At this point, it's out there for your consideration. We can talk about it in greater detail, but really it's something that I can't recommend action on until we get more clarification.
Guys are doing a good job of keeping up on it, though, Al. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I want to give credit to, we talked about our city attorney's office. The city attorney's office has been fantastic in keeping up on all of these things. As soon as the records are filed, the reports are coming out, they created the draft policy. They've been good to work with in keeping us on top of it. So I wish I could take credit. Thank you, Tom, but I want to recognize the city attorney's office for protecting the city on this one in particular.
Okay. Well, thank you, Al.
I think it's important to note that Number one, the state of Iowa does not recognize any mask mandates or vaccination mandate. OSHA does not recognize in Iowa any mask mandate or vaccination mandate. There is no evidence that vaccination is going to keep you from getting COVID. Mask is not going to keep you from getting COVID. We're going to have to live with this thing, and for government to get involved in it, I think is a big overreach, and I'm glad that we're not doing anything with it. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, a lot of people don't realize Iowa has their own OSHA, IOSH, and so we're not governed by what they say from Washington either. So there's just all kinds of things, people saying things, and which one do you listen to?
And further, I don't know how we can reconcile following HIPAA laws, asking for people to provide vaccination proof to their employers or anybody. This is just wrong in every way we look at it. That's my feelings.
And without agreeing or disagreeing, I will tell you that the challenge that we have is following federal law, because we do receive federal money. That's been our intent to this point. If we can put a hold on this, overwhelmingly, the cities and counties in the state of Iowa have put a pause on it, just from the feedback that I've gotten today. So, with your permission, I guess I would like to have the council formally table this, and if it comes back, we bring it back.
I would make a motion to table it.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a first and a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions? Roll call?
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Okay, that's the completion of our regular agenda. Committee reports, I don't think we had any committee meetings. Council members, anybody have any comments, anything they'd like to pass on?
I'd like to once again thank our outgoing council members and the mayor for all their service to the community, and encourage them to think about it down the road and encourage others to run for office.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, staff, chief, you have any, you want to walk up here again?
So I will tell you that we just received, I believe it's 7 new external automated defibrillators. This was through a grant through the Helmsley Foundation. For those of you old enough to remember that name, the Queen of Mean out of New York City. They set up a foundation, and one of the things that they did was they gave that money out to first responders. So we received 7 new ones. Those will go on our squad cars coming up this week. And the old ones that we have, those are going to go to Parks and Rec. I've talked to Bob. What better place to put those than those vehicles that are out and about in our parks and could possibly help someone. And I'm still working on trying to locate a squad car, because we could be 8 to 12 months out on the one that we put in for last year. So I'm seeing if we can't locate one somewhere that we can get that purchased and get put in before the end of this budget year, which it was budgeted for. Other than that, that's it.
Is that the famous Leona Helmsley?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yep, that's the foundation. It came through the state DPS, and we got that grant. Actually, Captain Lau wrote that grant and got it for us. And so they're all automated as well as Wi-Fi updatable. They're a much better piece of equipment than what we had, but the old stuff is still workable, so that's why we felt it should go out to some place that can help our community. And I think Parks and Recs is going to be a great place.
That's awesome. You have to thank him.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a fireman hiding behind there? Yeah, nothing for the fire department. Nothing to say, okay. Susie, got anything to say?
Not tonight, no.
Okay, Al?
I do have a couple of items for you. We have a zoning issue in the extraterritorial area just outside of city limits, so planning and zoning. Now that we have appointments made tonight, we will be asking to have a special P and Z meeting before their regular meeting in February, I think, so that we can address an issue, clean up an issue there with the county. Susie has been doing an excellent job with getting some of the preliminary budget numbers together. A very rough draft. I think staff will have some attention to our budget this week before we get to you next week or shortly after next week. We're not quite as low as I think we should be, but valuations came in surprisingly, even to me, at 6.9% increase, which is fantastic for 1 year's growth. That's about, well, that's a little over $15 million of valuation increase in 1 year. Very significant for us, so I'm optimistic about our budget process. But we still have some more work to do there. Next Monday at 5 o'clock, we will meet here. Departments will share with you the highlights of their line item budgets. We will try and move through that as quickly as we can, but I do want them to have a chance to share with you some of the significant changes that they are looking at in the budget, some up, some down, but I think that'll help you understand their thinking in the budget as we go through it. It is not the final budget. It is kind of the first run at the operating budget that the department heads will share with you. Beyond that, I think that's all I've got.
Okay. I have a couple of things here. First, I would like to thank everybody that volunteered to serve on a board or a commission. And there are a lot of people that they're just volunteering their time. They're not getting paid for it. And thank you very much for doing that. One other thing is there is some, this year, the city is its 175th anniversary, and so there is a committee that's getting put together. Nikki Barth down at Chamber is kind of pulling that together, and so if you have some ideas or thoughts, call them, or Bonnie has agreed to be the city rep on it. She plans parties better than I did. I was in a card club for a million years, and the ladies had us plan our one night, and that was out of 30 years, that was the only night the guys ever planned the card club. So you could probably tell the meal, the food was not good. So,
Anniversary date?
what's that?
When is the anniversary date?
Good question. I'm not, I wanted to say it was,
Bonnie?
This year.
Oh,
all year? That's why I asked her. She has a great question for that. All
Probably be
year.
appropriate to do it around July 4th.
yeah?
Okay, so that's one thing coming up. Other thing is does everybody have their city manager evaluation form turned in? Yes?
As long as you got Jen's, then yes, I have everything.
Yeah, I have John. I gave you John.
Jen's.
Oh, Jen?
I thought I turned mine in last week.
Okay, well, I'll let you settle that, but John, have I guilted you enough that you have volunteered again to do the summary?
I will do that, sir.
Okay, Tom, can I guilt you to help him?
Do what?
Oh, see, you agreed already. I don't want to give you too much information. We take the city manager evaluation and we summarize it, averaging the numbers and putting in the comments, and then I'm hoping on the 24th that we would be able to do the official
It's
evaluation.
basic number crunching, which an accountant would be great.
That's why I thought of you, to go with John, a business mind.
Okay.
Ah, that was easy.
Need to work on, what day is the
What?
24th?
You guys can set up a date.
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks?
Last thing I have is just a reminder to the public that we do have a special election coming up on February 8th to complete my last 2 years as a at-large council member. I did contact Chris Wilgenbush up at the auditor's office. Somebody had asked if there would be pre-voting before February 8th. Chris sent back and just said that You can pick up the nomination papers starting January 3rd, and you have to have your nomination papers turned into her office by January 14th. And she said, once the 14th is there and she finds out who's running, and I think at this point, we have 4 good people that are volunteering to put their necks on the line for running. She then will set the time if there can be some pre-voting before February 8th. But, so that's we do have that special election coming up on February 8th. If no one else has anything, I will motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.